I've repeatedly asked the Congress to pass a health program. The nation suffers from lack of medical care. That situation can be remedied anytime the Congress wants to act upon it.
And what they do in England is entirely different. In England, the entire cost of medicine for people of all ages, all of it, doctors, the choice of doctors, hospitals, from the time you're born to the time you die, are included in a government program. But what we're talking about is entirely different. And I hope that while he's here, he and Dr. Spock and others who have joined us will come to see what we're trying to do. The fact of the matter is that what we are now talking about doing, most of the countries of Europe did years ago. The British did it 30 years ago. We are behind every country pretty nearly in Europe in this matter of medical care for our citizens. And then those who say that this should be left to private effort. In those hospitals in New Jersey where the doctors said they wouldn't treat anyone, who paid their hospital bills through Social Security, those hospitals and every other new hospital, the American people, all of us, contribute 1/2, 1 or 2/3 for every new hospital, the national government. We pay 55% of all the research done. We help young men become doctors. We are concerned with the progress of this country. And those who say that what we are now talking about spoils our great pioneer heritage should remember that the West was settled with two great actions by the national government. One, in President Lincoln's administration, when he gave a homestead to everyone who went west, and in 1862 he set aside government property to build our land-grant colleges. This cooperation between an alert and progressive citizenry and a progressive government is what has made this country great, and we shall continue as long as we have the opportunity to do so.
No longer will older Americans be denied the healing miracle of modern medicine. No longer will illness crush and destroy the savings that they have so carefully put away over a lifetime so that they might enjoy dignity in their later years.
We could cover every American with the money we're spending right now if we just had the courage to demand insurance reform, slash healthcare bureaucracies, if we followed the lead of other nations in controlling the unnecessary spread of technology, stopping drug prices from going up at 3 times the rate of inflation, and forcing the people who send the bills to sit down with the people who pay the bills and planning out what we're going to spend on health care from year to year.
The real thing that matters is not our yesterdays, but our tomorrows. We want to say to the working people of America, we owe you affordable health care, a good education system, and a growing economic environment, but nothing we can do for you will take up for what you must do for yourself to continue to be more productive every day and every way. We will all have to change. No one can repeal the laws of change, but we're going to make change your friend if you will work hard and play by the rules. I'm tired of seeing people punished for doing that, and they'll be rewarded in our administration. Is the age-old American conflict between change and the status quo, between people having the courage to vote their hopes, or falling back and voting their fears. It is as clear now as it has ever been. Listen to the charges and the counter-charges, and listen to what Al Gore and Bill Clinton hope to do with you, not for you, but with you to change America. Imagine how you will feel on January the 20th if instead of 4 more years of blame and denial, division and diversion, we are all locking hands, walking down Pennsylvania Avenue to take our country back, to take our government back, to take our future back. Georgia, if it were not for you, I would not be here today. Stay with us. Bring us home on the 3rd and help us to make America what it ought to be. Thank you, and God bless you all.
Also, I'd like to note something quickly. Remember how Bill Clinton promised hope and change? Did you hear that? Doesn't that sound very familiar? Do you remember how Obama promised the same, hope and change and stuff like that? Plus, I noticed that Bill Clinton's, political campaign was also kind of similar to John F. Kennedy's. John F. Kennedy also said once, don't ask what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. He said something similar. So he copied Kennedy and Obama copied Bill Clinton. I noticed that Americans often, copy, American presidential candidates often copy other campaigns. And that's what we see here. Obama copied Bill Clinton. American presidential candidates lie about their promises. They copy other presidential campaigns. They get fooled. And the American people get fooled all the time. These universal healthcare promises have been there in the US for nearly a century. I mean, how are people still fooled by this in the US? Why are they believing in stuff like hope and change? How did they fall for that under Obama? How is this possible? Well, this just happens again and again, and I don't understand why. But yeah, you get the point.
The challenge is, how do we get the federal government to take care of its business? I happen to be a proponent of a single-payer universal health care plan. That's no reason why the United States of America, the wealthiest country in the history of the world, spending 14% of its gross national product on health care, cannot provide basic health insurance to everybody. And that's what Jim's talking about when he says everybody in, nobody out. A single-payer health care plan, universal health care plan. That's what I'd like to see. But as all of you know, we may not get there immediately. Because first we've got to take back the White House, and we've got to take back the Senate, and we've got to take back the House.
This is the long history of the false promise of universal healthcare, of Medicare for all in American history, which is over a century old already. It goes back all the way to Theodore Roosevelt, and American presidents, American politicians still haven't done it. And if you still believe that American presidents, for example Joe Biden, will bring universal healthcare, Medicare for all, then you are either not a Marxist or you are an idiot. You should not fight for universal healthcare in the US. American politicians won't give it to you anyway, so stop fighting for it, or you are not a Marxist, or as I said, an idiot. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe, and put the bell on.